This project started 2 years ago when we were still in India. My husband had just gotten a new toy, a Snapmaker for 3D printing, laser cutting and engraving. I immediately thought of a project I commissioned him with. I wanted a 3D artwork of an arabesque. I'll get into what that is and its history a bit later. First, we researched patterns we liked. Then he turned that into a 3D model. I had asked him to keep it simple. But guess what he didn't do? Yes, I am foreshadowing. He then turned that model into something printable, and away we went. The process wasn't the easiest, as the Snapmaker software is finicky at best, and I have a great many opinions around this machine, which I will also get into in a little bit. Anyway, fast forward to today, 2 years and 3 moves later. I have finally had enough of them lying around collecting dust, so I told my husband we will do this as a weekend project. We had backed up the different segments of pieces to keep some sort of order back then. He carefully sanded each piece, and I gave all of them a good coating of black spray paint. I mostly did this to try to cover the surface of the not so great print quality. To make life a little easier, I went on to make a blueprint to glue down the pieces on the plexiglass that had also traveled with us since India. Sadly, I did not check whether I could actually see through it with the light source I had prior to going through all the effort. Suffice to say, the weekend had passed as I had to get a new, transparent plexiglass sheet. And if you thought that's where the trouble ended and all was smooth sailing from here on out, think again. Remember how I wanted my husband to keep it simple? Well, he added a slope into the artwork, which means every piece can only sit in one specific spot. And the pieces that were so carefully bagged up, all mixed up. And so we spent the next 2 days solving a giant 3D jigsaw. And to add insult to injury, an entire quadrant did not mirror the software when printing. So I bagged it up to maybe use in some other way. No, I'm not a hoarder, thank you very much. And my husband went about getting a new set printed out. Meanwhile, I got ready for an epic glue up. So, what is an arabesque? The term arabesque refers to a style of artistic expression relating to design and decor, first used in Islamic architecture and art. It is based on a linear, geometric and recurring pattern that is ornate and intricate in detail, possibly involving displays of nature, such as plants or flowers. Many Islamic designs are based on squares and circles, interlaced to form complex patterns. A common motif is the 8-pointed star, made of 2 squares, one rotated 45 degrees with respect to the other. Arabesque depictions, mostly combined with geometry and calligraphy, have 2 types. The first is about the principles that govern the order of the world. Geometric forms have a built-in symbolism. The principles include the basics of what makes objects structurally sound, yet pleasing to the eye. The square with its equal sides represents the important elements of nature, namely earth, wind, fire, and air. The physical world is symbolized by a circle that inscribes the square and would collapse upon itself without any of the 4 elements. The second type is based on the flowing nature of organic forms, representing the feminine life-giving force. Arabesques made their way to Europe around the Renaissance until the early 19th century. They were used for the decoration of illuminated and religious manuscripts, walls, furniture, metalwork, and pottery. Today you will often recognize the patterns from beautiful floor tiles. Whether it's in form of calligraphy, floral patterns, or geometry like the one I am making, I think we can all agree that this art form is fascinating and mesmerizing to look at. Once again, the Snapmaker has let us down big time. After installing an update, we tried reprinting that last quarter. The print time was going to be 11 hours. The base layer went down without a problem, and that is usually the most important bit. So we let it run overnight and woke up to this mess. The printer suffered the infamous blob of death. The filament built up around the nozzle and clogged up the housing, engulfing wires and internal components. The Snapmaker is an excellent hardware crippled by consistently terrible software. Therefore, I cannot recommend buying this at all. Well, luckily I still had that back with the reverse pieces. So rather than having a gaping hole, I decided to glue the pieces on the other way around. It means a quarter will have a different surface structure, but it was that or nothing. I poured myself some Vino and got back to work. This weekend project has turned into a week-long project. But besides all of the pitfalls and hardships, it turned out pretty great. I'm very happy and very proud we persevered through it all. And just in case you're wondering, I decided against using the 8-pointed star in the middle, even though I know it's pretty important, but the print quality just wasn't good enough, so I didn't want to have it in there. And now it's time to hang it up and for the final reveal, and I hope you like it as much as I do. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you like this. And leave me a comment with your thoughts. Hope to see you again here soon. Bye bye!